The Harkonnen regime is characterized by their notorious cruelty, which presents a complex case study in governance. Their harsh leadership style raises significant questions about the sustainability of such a regime. Given that the Harkonnens had ruled Arrakis for around 80 years by the time the Dune saga begins, one might wonder how a great house characterized by seemingly arbitrary brutality manages to remain so functional and coherent. In this video, I'd like to explore the complex dynamics of power and control within House Harkonnen, examining the effect their sadistic approach has on their rule, and how the Harkonnens' cruelty serves to ultimately strengthen their governance. The Imperium functions under a system known as the Faufer Lucius. This system dictates that each individual has a specific role and position within society, under the guiding principle of a place for every man and every man in his place. This hierarchical structure ensures that everyone knows their position and duties, maintaining order and stability within the expansive and complex society of the Imperium. As one of the dark and twisted products of this class system, the Harkonnen state is a society where individuals have no freedom to choose their roles. Instead, their positions are enforced on them by the ruling elite. The population of their homeworld is categorized into classes: slaves, individuals akin to serfs, and those born into influential families. Slaves are forced into labor with no autonomy or hope for advancement. Serfs, on the other hand, are conscripted into either military service or labor positions, depending on the needs of the regime. Those born into families with influence may enjoy certain privileges, but they are still subject to the overarching power and brutal control of the Harkonnen leadership. This hierarchical structure ensures that the Harkonnens maintain a tight grip on all aspects of society, using fear, coercion, and strict social stratification to ensure loyalty and obedience. They leverage their absolute power to assign roles, dictate careers, and control the destinies of their subjects, ensuring that the machinery of their government continues to function efficiently, albeit under a cloak of terror and repression. This system not only consolidates their power, but also reinforces the stark divisions and dependencies that make any resistance difficult, if not impossible. At first glance, the idea might seem contradictory that the Harkonnens could maintain a stable government given their heartless tactics. However, this can be partly understood by looking at the environment of fear and ambition they foster. In the Harkonnen hierarchy, survival and advancement depend on one's ability to navigate the unpredictable and often dangerous nature of their leaders. The culture on Giedi Prime is one where fear enforces discipline among subordinates, but also promotes a form of loyalty driven by self-preservation and ambition. Those who thrive in this harsh environment are typically the most adaptable, cunning, and resilient, qualities that are highly valued in the Harkonnens' cutthroat political landscape. As a result, the Harkonnens' oppressive methods inadvertently attract and cultivate a pool of talented and ambitious individuals, all aiming to climb the ranks while avoiding the risk of falling victim to the regime's capricious wrath. The Harkonnens employ various unethical methods to maintain control and coerce a sense of loyalty among their ranks. For instance, they use addictive substances to keep key personnel dependent and compliant. Nefud, the Baron's captain of the guard, is an example of this tactic. His addiction to Samuta makes him a pawn in the hands of the Harkonnen leadership, ensuring his obedience and loyalty. This method of control through facilitating addiction not only secures the allegiance of individuals like Nefud, but also serves as a deterrent to disobedience, as the consequences of withdrawal or loss of access to the drug can be severe. The spice addiction of the twisted mentat Piter de Vries serves as another example of how the Harkonnens maintained control over their subjects. The Baron even proudly asserts that Piter's addiction is what binds him to the Harkonnens, using it as a means to ensure his loyalty. By leveraging addiction and other coercive tactics, the Harkonnens create a web of dependence that binds their subjects to them, ensuring that even those who might otherwise be disloyal remain under their control. The Harkonnens' treatment of Thufir Hawat serves as yet another illustration of their ruthless approach to guarantee compliance. Thufir, a highly skilled and renowned mentat, found himself at the mercy of the Harkonnens after being captured. Rather than simply imprisoning or executing him, the Harkonnens chose a more insidious method. They chronically poisoned him, administering the antidote regularly to keep him alive and dependent on them. This method ensured that Thufir had no choice but to serve them, as his survival was directly tied to their will. However, this strategy was far from foolproof. Despite being under their control, Thufir harbored deep resentment and actively sought ways to undermine the Harkonnens from within. His clandestine resistance and attempts to cripple them revealed a critical flaw in the Harkonnens' reliance on coercion and cruelty. It bred mistrust and rebellion, even in those who appeared to be loyal. The decision to keep Thufir, a formidable and potentially dangerous intellect under such conditions, instead of recruiting a new mentat, demonstrated the Harkonnens' prioritization of domination over practicality. The Harkonnens also use propaganda and strict surveillance to suppress dissent and maintain control over the population. They foster a climate of distrust and paranoia, making it difficult for potential rebels to organize or communicate. By keeping the populace divided and fearful, the Harkonnens reduce the likelihood of a coordinated uprising. The Harkonnens' relentless greed and wealth accumulation are key factors in securing their power. By amassing vast resources, they can finance a formidable military, support numerous plots, and wield significant influence over other factions. Their financial power enables them to buy loyalty, form strategic alliances, and quash opposition through bribery and economic coercion, thereby reinforcing their control and stability. This wealth also funds the opulent lifestyle they pursue, allowing them to feed their addictions and engage in debauchery. Such indulgence not only satisfies their own desires, but also attracts and incentivizes like-minded individuals who thrive in their twisted system, further solidifying their dominance. The Harkonnens' obsession with maintaining power over others reveals a significant flaw in their governance. Their reliance on control and manipulation, rather than fostering genuine loyalty and competence as seen in their rivals House Atreides, results in a fragile and unstable power structure. This approach alienates and embitters those under their rule, creating an environment rife with potential dissent. Perhaps the biggest factor to ensure that this fragile system is held together is the extraordinary intellect and cunning of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. His strategic mind and ruthless efficiency allow him to navigate the complexities of his oppressive government, maintaining a level of order and preventing collapse. Only a leader of the Baron's exceptional cunning could manage the delicate balance of fear and coercion that keeps the Harkonnen state from imploding. His ability to anticipate threats, manipulate rivals, and control key figures within his own ranks compensates for the inherent weaknesses in their approach, enabling the Harkonnens to maintain their grip on power despite the underlying instability and chaos of their rule. But I'm curious to know what you think of the Harkonnens' brutal methods. Are there any factors in their governance that you think are primarily responsible for their historical strength? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more Dune and other sci-fi and fantasy news and lore. And if you're looking for other ways to show your appreciation, you can check out my Patreon page, where members get access to exclusive content and perks. Thank you all so much for your support, and as always, have a very nerdy day.